to Mr. 96's Pop Reviews. My name is Mr. 96. In my last video, I went over the top 10 worst hit songs of 2018, but I want people to know that I love pop music. So it's only right that I highlight the best this year had to offer. While 2018 was an all-around bad year for pop music, I thought there were some good songs that were at the very least worth talking about. If anything, I have to give credit to 2018 for making me think hard about my number one, as this is the toughest number one since I started this show. Usually, my number one songs are easy picks that are a cut above the rest, like the Golden State Warriors running through the league. This year, my number one came down to the last minute, as there were several legit contenders throughout the season. You know the guidelines, release date, top 60, etc. Mr. 69's on piano. Now let's end the year on a positive note as I give you my top 10 best hit songs of 2018. Tell from my opening theme song, I used to b-boy when I was younger. Before I even thought about reviewing music, I wanted to become a professional dancer. And while I don't dance anymore, that background has affected the way I listen to music. Just like how freestyle rapping helps you understand flow and rhythm, dancing has helped me appreciate all the complex patterns a beat can have. One of my pet peeves, especially in modern Latin pop, is when the drum beats sound like one basic measure played on a loop. Not only is it tiring and stale, but it doesn't even remotely sound like something you could groove to. I'm someone who believes a good dance can improve a song, so if there's anyone who's up to that task, I'd put my money on one of the top female dancers in South Korea, Lisa of Blackpink. Alright then, no waiting around, just come in straight with the heat.
I like texts from my exes when they want a second chance. I like proving niggas wrong, I do what they say I can't.
That timing, I don't know what else to say. I like it a lot. God damn, I wish that Academy was in the States. As for the song, yeah, I'm sold.
I'm in district in the chain.
Okay, I'm not gonna act like I didn't like the song before that. I did. I made an entire review of it. But what that dance ad did was allow me to appreciate the intricacies of the music. I Like It may just seem like Pete Rodriguez's I Like It Like That played over a trap beat, but that's not giving enough credit to the drum work on display.
I like going to the Tula, I put rocks all in my watch. I like texts from my exes.
Unlike the standard reggaeton beat that typically stays the same on repeat throughout, the beat of this song evolves and changes as the song progresses. The song actually respects the original and makes clever changes where necessary. As for things that have changed since I reviewed the song, that's actually kind of interesting. Back in August, I said that J Balvin was my favorite part, while Bad Bunny was my least favorite by comparison. Funny thing, I've actually kind of flipped on that one. Yeah, I'm shocked too, but Bad Bunny just sounds like he's having a hell of a good time. He manages to differentiate himself from Cardi while staying true to the spirit of the song. I could sit here and try to come up with some philosophical reason as to why I feel that way, but sometimes the emotion is what really sticks with you. I Like It modernizes an old classic, but it makes the necessary updates that don't tarnish the legacy of the original. If Latin trap could sound more like this than Te Bote, I think we'd all be winners. And sometimes that's all I really need. A fun time with a few surprises. Every video I make, I always have to emphasize that art is subjective. My thoughts on these songs are all my opinion. I'm not here to change your opinion. All I try to do is provide perspective and engage in discussion. Explaining one's perspective to another is more difficult than it seems, since what may sound fantastic to one may sound like utter garbage to another. There's no objective standard everyone agrees on, nor should there be. So try to understand where I'm coming from when I say that this next song is not the most well-polished song in the world. The instruments sound way more processed than authentic. Plus, the singer isn't exactly known for her vocal prowess. On the surface, all of this has the makings of something fake, or imitating reality. But when you frame the song from that particular perspective, everything suddenly starts to make sense.
Took you like a shot, thought that I could chase you with a cold evening.
For the longest time, I didn't think I'd include this song in the list proper, but somehow, some way, I just kept coming back to it. No pun intended. From a lyrical perspective, it's nothing new. It's about an on-off relationship where Selena Gomez always comes back to a guy even though she knows it won't work out. But while the premise may be familiar, what's particularly new is the use of atmosphere.
And every time we talk, every single word builds up to this moment. And I gotta convince myself I don't want it, even though I do.
Selena sings about how she wants to be with the guy even when her brain is saying no. And to me, that acoustic guitar in the background is the symbol of reality. Logic and common sense will tell you not to get back with him, but her heart is telling her to go with the moment. So if that guitar in the verses represents her brain, then her heart would be the electronic music that follows.
I know I'd go back to you.
Now, I've heard some people call this drop one of the worst drops of the year, but I have to disagree. To me, I actually find it quite amusing. If the acoustic guitar represents Selena's fading grip on reality, this messy drop is her embracing a wild fantasy she knows won't last. In a sense, the song connects with me in sort of a meta way.
I wanna hold you when I'm not supposed to.
I know I'm probably the only person in the world with that interpretation, but I just enjoy this kind of musical fantasy where our protagonist embraces the fiction that she wants to make real. It's joyful in its unfortunate self-awareness.
I know it's forward, but it's true. Won't lie, I'd go back to you.
And again, if you disagree, I'm not here to change your mind. All I hope is that you can understand my unique, outlandish perspective. So to that one guy in Buenos Aires, finding enjoyment from this song is possible.
I know I'd go back to you.
I love Pharrell. I think he's a generational talent when it comes to producing music. But even geniuses have their bad days.
A light is coming to give back everything the darkness stole.
Earlier this year, Ariana Grande released a Pharrell-produced track called The Light Is Coming. And I wish I loved it more than I actually do. Every part of it could have come together to make something great if it weren't for that goddamn town hall excerpt.
The light is coming to give back everything the darkness stole.
You wouldn't let anybody speak your...
I mean, I get that people can sample anything from the randomest of places, but it doesn't work if the sample isn't recontextualized in any way. In this song, it just plays throughout without any kind of meaning or purpose. Pharrell must be in love with that clip considering he previously sampled a different part of that same video.
I have every right to...
Wait a minute, wait a minute.
Yeah, you saw this coming.
Mad ethnic right now.
I get it how I live it. I live it how I get it. Come to motherfucking digits.
Honestly, this part will probably be quick. There's not much to say. It's a song meant to get you dancing, and it did its job. Though I will point out some interesting notes here and there, like how 2/3 of NERD are Pharrell and Chad Hugo, aka the Neptunes. For those of you who are younger, the Neptunes were like the iconic production duo of the 2000s. If you wanted a hit song on the radio, you either went to them or Timbaland. Metro Boomin only wishes he could have the Neptunes as legacy. And when you hear the way they mix in that town hall sample, it's blended in perfectly.
Woo, this beat tastes like lunch, but it's running from veneers and it's running from the fronts.
To my pleasant surprise, Rihanna's a pretty damn good rapper. She makes use of the beat she's given and absolutely takes control. It makes you wonder what a young Rihanna would have sounded like had she worked with Pharrell in 05.
I get it, I live it.
Lemon is a good time no matter the situation. Pharrell and Rihanna bring forth great effort and their energy is felt from beginning to end. Keep up the work, Pharrell. Just make a better album than Sweetener.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Outside of pop, I enjoy movies and TV from time to time, but what I really love is storytelling. And when it's done well, it can help make some damn good music.
When I was young, I fell in love with used to old hands, man, that was enough.
Storytelling is something you don't see in pop music nowadays, and when it is used, oftentimes the artist can never stay on topic. East Side is about two people reminiscing over an old love, and the song stays focused while supplementing its story with both the feelings of nostalgia and regret.
17, and we got a dream to have a family, a house, and everything in between.
I've never been the biggest fan of Halsey's singing, but this kind of low-key, story-driven tune really works for her, especially when she's given good material to work with. For a while, I was wondering why this Halsey song connected with me so much, but then I realized, wait a minute, it's just an upgraded version of Closer. Keep in mind, I actually like Closer unlike most of you, but even I can admit East Side is better by a landslide. The production there is more subtle, and unlike Andrew Taggart, Khalid can actually sing.
She used to meet me on the east side in the city with a sun on set.
But in the the end, the one who really makes the song come together is Benny Blanco, who manages to mix a romantic guitar melody with a dance beat so effortlessly.
Suddenly, we're 10:23 and now we got pressure for taking our life more seriously.
When you listen to Halsey's verse, the drum beats remain present to provide energy, but they don't distract you from the sentiment of her words. But one thing I never could have imagined was that Khalid and Halsey would have such great chemistry.
We can do anything if we put our mind to it.
Their unique voices blend well together, and when you listen to their performances, I legitimately believe these two could have been high school lovers, even with the 4-year gap in between.
So come away, starting to taste, start a new life together in a different place.
East Side is such a good song. It's heartfelt, danceable, and unlike Perfect by Ed Sheeran, the storytelling here includes elements of regret to make it feel real. A big thumbs up to everyone involved.
She used to meet me on the east side in the city with the sun on set.
One of the saddest things to witness is the decline of a popular artist right before your eyes. It's inevitable, no one is good forever, but very few have disappointed me in recent years as much as Pink has.
What about us? What about all the times you said you had the answer?
I understand Pink has moved way past that pop rock stage of hers, but even so, hearing her sing this standard generic ballad is just sad. It would be one thing if her quality took an Eminem-like fall off a cliff, but Pink's decline has just been slow and agonizing. It's to the point where I don't even want to hear any new music from her. But to my surprise, I did hear a new Pink song this year, and I was so happy to hear her find that magic again. Until I found out it wasn't by Pink. Oh well, I'll take it.
You call me all friendly, telling me how much you miss me.
Dua Lipa is one of my most respected artists currently out right now. I wouldn't say I'm a mega fan yet, but I haven't heard a bad song from her so far, and this one here might be my favorite. The reason I said this is like a good Pink song is partly because of the electric guitar melody, but it also deals with the subject of some douchebag ex who won't leave her alone.
So I cut you off. I don't need your love, 'cause I already cried enough.
Obviously, I'm not saying Dua Lipa and Pink are the same artist, not by a long shot, but I mentioned her because this song is what a 2010s Pink song would sound like if she got her act together. And by that, I'm talking about the attitude. Many artists make songs about how they totally don't care, but most of the time, those songs end up being counterintuitive since making an entire song about the subject sort of goes against the concept of not caring. I'm looking at you, Demi Lovato. But unlike Demi Lovato or Taylor Swift, who epitomize the concept of totally not over it, Dua Lipa manages to stay true to the spirit of the song by actually sounding like she doesn't give a f***.
You say I'm sorry, but it's too late now.
Dua is a very talented vocalist, but she also manages to find that perfect balance of emotion within her voice. Obviously, due to the nature of the song, she still cares to a certain extent, but she has enough restraint in her expression so that she doesn't come off as melodramatic or desperate for attention. It's not dreary, yet it's not overly happy. It just sounds like someone doing what they've gotta do. But at the same time, she still shows that she's not above allowing some genuine feeling to leak out.
About you, no, I don't give a damn. You keep reminiscing on when you were my man.
This bridge is my favorite part of the song. You can hear her underlying emotions let loose for a second, but at the same time, she also takes a low-key shot at him by saying that he was her man instead of her being his girl. The bridge represents the emotional climax of the song, and that little jab is a nice subtle way of demonstrating who's really on top here. IDGAF is a rarity. It's an I don't care song that actually accomplishes what it sets out to do. Dua Lipa is a fantastic talent, and even though this song peaked at number 49, I am so glad it just made the year-end Hot 100. This song is great, and I hope she has a fantastic 2019.
Don't give a fuck.
A lot of you are probably seeing my channel for the first time, but for those who have followed me before, I asked on Twitter if you could guess what my number 1 best hit song was. And all I can say is either I must have a CIA level poker face or you guys are terrible at guessing. Seriously, I didn't expect you guys to guess my number 1, but not a single one of you guessed a song that made my top 5. And it's not like I've been hiding any of my opinions. Hell, one of you even guessed No Tears Left to Cry, even though I already reviewed that song and gave it an 8 out of 10. An 8 out of 10 song is my best hit of the year? Come on, I'm not that much of an asshole. But seriously, most of my top 5 are songs I've referenced and praised in other videos. For example, Well, Florida Georgia Line managed to collaborate with Hailee Steinfeld as well, and that song was legitimately great. He said it was great. I guess he must not like it that much. Forget music, Hailee Steinfeld is one of my favorite people in the world. She's an Academy-nominated actress, gorgeous, part Asian, and a fantastic singer. On the surface, Let Me Go may come off as some low-key generic EDM song, but the electronic elements actually complement the grounded nature of the instrumental as well as the subject matter.
You made plans and I made problems.
The song is about how Hailee's in a bad relationship and she wants the guy to leave her, but instead of blaming the guy for the issues, she actually takes all the blame for everything that's gone wrong. When I first heard the title, I thought it was gonna be some cliche story where she tells some crazy ex to piss off, but the fact that it's actually the opposite, where she's the bad influence, is different and kind of refreshing in a way.
And I wished you would hurt me harder than I hurt you.
The silky guitar grounds the song and provides a calm atmosphere. Instead of some over-the-top melodramatic breakup music, the natural tone accentuates the theme of acceptance and moving on. As for the rest of the contributions, I think everyone did a great job. Alesso excelled with the instrumental, and Florida Georgia Line actually sounded decent for once. But one detail I think everybody missed is the contribution of Watt. You notice how the feature credits include some guy named Watt? I think most people assumed he was just some co-producer, but in addition to production, he's also the backup vocalist. Yeah, people just assumed Hailee was singing against a backing track of her own vocals, but those vocals are actually Watt's. Listen closely and you'll hear her male voice. Unlike many people, I have more of a tolerance towards EDM drops, but even so, I think this calm, tropical house drop really works with the tone Hailee sets. She doesn't wish any harm on the guy, but deep down, she's also not happy with the situation. I love this song. Hailee is great, the music is superb, and this song definitely should have earned a spot in the year-end Hot 100.
I've been hoping someone will love you, let me go.
Considering the 2020s are around the corner, I'm legitimately surprised we haven't seen an explosion of 90s retro. I know that new Captain Marvel movie takes place in the 90s, but the decade ended 20 years ago. Why is pop music still in love with the 80s? I mean, I like synth pop as much as the next guy, but there's plenty of great genres from the 90s to choose from. So if we're gonna start now, we can start in chronological order with some early 90s New Jack Swing. Come on, like we all didn't know this was coming. Okay, technically New Jack Swing started in the 80s, but I think even music historians would associate it more with the 90s zeitgeist. And why not? The Berlin Wall just fell, so we had every right to be bright and happy. Bruno Mars has basically become our go-to artist for retro throwbacks, but Finesse is still great because it has a heart that even his other throwbacks don't have.
Ooh, don't we look good together?
Finesse is a song about how he and his girl look great together, and while he's still bragging about his fame and fortune, the focus of the song is on how he wants to share that fame with her. When you look back at some of Bruno's previous hits, like Uptown Funk or 24 Karat Magic, I like them, but at the same time, they were blatant flex songs where Bruno brags about how he's so much better than you. And don't get me wrong, I like flex songs when done well, but even the good ones have a cap as to how much I can love them. Finesse, on the other hand, has the same infectious energy and groove of those other two songs, but instead highlights the sentiment of sharing the spotlight with the girl. As a result, he still shows off his fame, but the focus is on the pair rather than the individual. It's the best of both worlds. It's a flex song that's also less condescending with a nice little love story. And of course, the production is goddamn splendid.
Drop top Porsche, rollie on my wrist, diamonds up and down my chain.
New Jack Swing is a mix of 80s R&B with old school hip hop, and both of those elements are maximized throughout this song. Cardi B provides her best guest verse of the year, and the music sounds like it came straight from the 90s. Strangely enough though, I looked on whosample.com and apparently Finesse doesn't sample any song. A fact I find completely insane since this song makes an obvious callback to Belle Biv DeVoe. And the chorus? Well, that's obviously Remember the Time by Michael Jackson. Weird, huh? But even if those other songs don't get credit, I'm still glad this song exists. If this signals the beginning of a 90s retro boom, I wouldn't mind one bit. Just stay away from the early 90s Christian music. Now that should stay in the past.
We got it going on, got it going on.
Every December, I get plenty of new viewers, so I feel like it's my obligation to properly introduce who I am. If you just found me through my last video, a lot of you probably assume I hate hip-hop. But that couldn't be further from the truth. I may have problems with the overabundance of trap as well as certain toxic elements of rap culture, but forget music genres. Hip-hop is one of the most important movements to ever exist, and rap at its greatest has produced undeniable gems that have changed history. And while hip-hop is not my personal #1 genre, I can acknowledge how versatile and moving it could be. And when one of the best rappers today makes a love ballad that manages to stay true to the artist and the genre, you have to give it props.
Give me a run for my money. There is nobody, no one that outrun me.
No kidding, when I first heard this song, I thought it was The Weeknd singing it. Wouldn't have surprised me since they already worked together this year, but the singer Zakari does a fantastic job at providing powerful yet soothing vocals. I never thought Kendrick Lamar would be the type to sing a love ballad, but isn't it kind of nice to hear a rapper dedicate a song to one woman? It's better than the standard choice of bitches, hoes, and more bitches.
Only for life, yeah, only for life, yeah, only for life, let's get it. Hit that shoulder lean.
Most rappers usually sound bored or out of place when taken out of their element, but Kendrick rolls with this synth-led tune and manages to make the song his own. I've talked about songs where one terrible lyric can ruin the whole thing, but Love has sort of the opposite situation where one ingenious line actually enhances it.
If I'm in my mind at work, would you still love me? Keep it 100, I'd rather you trust me than to love me.
That line of him asking her to trust him rather than love him is incredibly powerful. While it's often typical to say you love someone, how many people really get to the point where they actually trust one another? The term love is used so callously in music that we get numb to it. But the fact that Kendrick is willing to sacrifice love for trust shows that he actually cares for her, not just romantically, but as a human being. Love is fantastic. It's beautiful, relaxing, and also meaningful in ways you wouldn't expect. It's my favorite song from Damn, and it shows Kendrick can stick to his hip-hop roots while demonstrating legitimate pop crossover. You know what? Stop. I have to be honest, I couldn't do it. I couldn't pick my #1. Even after months and months, I still couldn't pick a favorite between my top 2. And if I can't pick a favorite, I can't finish this list. Here we go. Really? Look man, I have to be real. No matter what song I choose, I feel like I'm gonna regret it afterwards. The difference between them is like a hair.
Mr. 96, answer me this. What is your favorite Mandy Moore song?
Dude, are you still talking about your ex?
Just roll with it.
Well, outside of her work from Tangled, Crush. Crush by Mandy Moore is my favorite song of hers.
And do you listen to it every day?
To be honest, no.
And why is that?
Well, if I listen to it every day, I'll eventually get tired and seek out a new song. I mean, Candy ain't that far behind.
Okay, but even though you know this and have listened to her other songs, why do you still call this one your favorite?
I don't know. Even after all these years, something intangible about it just keeps me coming back.
Well, if that's the case, could you say the same about this year's #1?
I guess I haven't really thought about that. You know, I think you make a good point.
Of course, my name is Mr. 69. As for you, think outside the box a little more.
Well, this is how things are gonna go. Why not? But before I reveal my top 2, let's go through the honorable mentions that nearly made the list.
Cap and a stem, catch a wave on us.
Miguel has always been one of those critically acclaimed R&B singers I've never actually given a full listen to, but after checking out this and some of his other songs, I totally get the appeal. It's really cool to hear DJ Mustard make something out of his element. His sound has become infamously noticeable, but this soothing R&B jam is a nice change of pace for someone that needs inspiration.
How long has this been going on?
Charlie Puth has probably had the craziest jump in quality from his first album to his second. I went from absolutely hating the guy to feeling sad for him that the rest of Voice Notes couldn't get much mainstream attention.
One kiss is all it takes. Falling in love with me.
Calvin Harris and Dua Lipa were a combination made for each other. I wouldn't say the song is great, but it's a really good song I can groove to whenever it comes on.
Right now, I'm in a state of mind.
Though Ariana Sweetener album didn't turn out as great as I had hoped, this song will always be a delight. Good job, Max Martin. I didn't think it would be possible to enjoy a song that reminded me of my ex, but Zedd managed to do it. And by ex, I'm talking about Target. I used to work there. This song grew on me at some point and subsequently faded back to my starting point, but Khalid and Normani do a solid job at creating a romantic atmosphere. When I first heard this, I thought it was a shoo-in for my top 10. Unfortunately, it kinda wore off on me over the course of the year. Still appreciate the effort though.
That's a real one in your reflection without a...
It's unfortunate that I don't love the song as much as I should, but I can't deny that Drake did a great job with this one. It still doesn't excuse the rest of Scorpion though. And with that out of the way, let's get started with number 2. I hate beef. Not the meat, no, I'll take a steak any day. I'm talking about rap beef. I think it's all ridiculous and everyone looks stupid in the end. I hate it and I hate talking about it. Speaking of which, in my last video, I said I'm Upset came out after the story of Adidon. Well, it turns out I was wrong as I'm Upset was released 3 days before it. Chalk that one up for my 2019 corrections. You want me to talk about hip hop and this is what you get. Look, I already watch enough soap opera pettiness on TV, I don't need any more in my music. If you really want my full, undivided attention, why don't you just call out an entire genre?
Yeah, I done did a lot of things in my day, I admit it. I don't take back what I say. All my life I won a Grammy, but I probably never get it.
Oh, alright then.
Y'all gotta move, y'all gotta move.
Look, I didn't even bother to research the Eminem MGK beef as it really wasn't worth my time. But if there was fire I could listen to without all that baggage, it was this. I would honestly love to analyze this song line by line, but if you know anything about YouTube, I don't want a copyright strike. So I'm just gonna sum up the best parts.
Back on my bullshit, my back to the wall, turn my back on you all and you finish.
If any modern rapper could be the perfect complement to Eminem, it would be Joyner Lucas, who I mostly know from that one viral song, I'm Not Racist, which regardless of your political stance is raw and heavy like a freight train. Lucky You is about these two calling out the entire rap scene, specifically trap music, where Joyner is the new guy and M is the vet. And if you think Joyner Lucas is just some inexperienced rookie, why? How is it that this guy is rapping at like 300 plus words a minute, yet he's still easier to understand than Lil Uzi Vert? But I shouldn't be comparing this to trap. This is an Eminem song. So how's he?
They're asking me what the fuck happened to hip-hop. I said I don't have any answers, cause I took a L when I dropped my last album. It hurt me like hell, but I'm back on these rappers.
Oh.
But nothing is feeling like anyone has any fucking ability to even stick to a subject is killing me. The inability to pin humility. Why don't we make a bunch of fucking songs about nothing and mumble them?
Oh my.
Cause half of these rappers have brain damage. All the lean rapping, face tats syrupped out like tree sap.
Surely you don't mean that, do you?
I don't hate trap, and I don't wanna seem mad, but in fact, what I owe me at the same cat that would take that feedback and aim back. I need that.
Holy shit!
Levels to the shit, I got an elevator. You could never say to me, I'm not a fucking record breaker. I sound like a broken record every time I break a record. Nobody could ever take away the legacy I made a navigator.
Trust me, I wanted to make this my number 1. I was about to. It's definitely deserving. But the reason I eventually decided not to is kind of different than what you'd expect. I give all the props in the world for this being fantastically written. Shot after shot just being thrown at you. But with all that heaviness, you do kind of need a break before you hear it again. The best comparison I can make is the movie Logan. It's a very good, well-made movie, but with all that drama, weight, and intensity, it's not exactly something you can watch multiple times in a row. Also, Joyner Lucas uses a gay slur.
You play your cards, I reverse on you all and I might just drop like a uno. Cállate boca, my home, they call it obuto and all of you culo.
In Spanish! But either way, Eminem made a great song. It takes its shots, doesn't back down, but is also self-aware enough to counter any arguments. If an almost 50-year-old Eminem can make more songs like this, we'd all receive the benefits. Except for MGK, as far as I know.
Y'all gotta move, y'all gotta move. Give me the juice.
Sometimes explaining why you like a song is hard. It's simple to just say it's well sung or well produced, but that's also subjective and someone else might hear the same thing completely differently. So in order to explain this next song, let's frame the situation. I know I've complained on multiple occasions about the overabundance of trap music, but I'm not gonna act like trap is an inherently terrible genre with no redeeming qualities. There are plenty of things to love about it. For one, the beats themselves have this rough, dark bass sound that easily stands out, and that distinct sound is a big reason why the EDM genre of trap is so aggressive and hard-hitting. But the hard-heavy beats aren't the only aspect of trap I like. There are other instrumental aspects as well. Take a listen to this. I actually really like the use of a flute in Mask Off by Future. Granted, I don't like the song, but I really like the flute. It's refreshing to hear some unconventional instruments from time to time. Now imagine a song that has an aggressive EDM trap beat, accentuates the flute from Mask Off, but unlike Mask Off, actually has energy. Sounds pretty cool, right? Hell, why stop there? Trap's a male-dominated genre, so why not throw in some women? Let's see what we get. Come on, don't act like you didn't see this coming. Let me introduce you to 4 women by the names of Jisoo, Jennie, Lisa, and Rose. And not only did they just meet the requirements to make this list, they are the biggest Korean girl group in the world with a total discography of 10 songs. On the surface, this song is basically a brag rap / flex anthem, and I'm not gonna act like it's something way deeper than what it is. But one thing that every flex song needs is personality. And with this song specifically, each member of Blackpink fills in a different aspect of power. You've got Jisoo being gentle but deadly. We've got Lisa playing the badass. You know what? After seeing your dance videos, I see no lies there. After her, then we have Rose coming in with the vocals. And last, we have Jennie, who figuratively and literally runs you over with the tank. You know what? I'm gonna save that clip and see if it comes back into play. I know this might sound crazy, but isn't it nice to hear a flex song where it actually sounds like they're flexing? Flexing implies there's some effort involved, and the production here is better than you think, as you can make out every note and beat without it sounding cluttered or compressed. What you gonna do when I come through with that What put this over Lucky You for me is replayability. I can listen to this multiple times no matter the context. And the crazy thing is, I wouldn't even consider this an upper tier Blackpink song. Boombayah! Do is basically the sequel to their debut single Boombayah, which is the version I usually prefer. This one is what I consider raw, uncut Blackpink, whereas Do is the refined black dress version. Also on the list of great Blackpink tracks, I really like As If It's Your Last, and Playing With Fire is an absolute masterpiece of music that I highly recommend. Hell, Forever Young is awesome, and it came from the same EP as Do. But that's not to say Do doesn't have its appeal. Remember that clip I say from earlier? Well, you were goddamn right. Well, would you look at that? A trap song with an actual bass drop. If you're someone who had issues with trap and EDM this year, this song kills 2 birds with 1 stone. And some might say I'm biased because I love K-pop, but I have an issue with that take. You don't have to agree with me, but don't even try to doubt my integrity. I could have put any of BTS's hits on this list if I were truly biased. It was possible, I liked them all, but you know why I didn't? Because at the end of the day, they weren't good enough to make this list. This is my number 1 because I legitimately love it. I can truly enjoy this with no hesitation. It's got the music, has loads of personality, and Blackpink is the revolution. I'm Mr. 96, and welcome to my channel. If you want more pop reviews, like and share this video, and subscribe to my channel so we can reach 2,500. Thank you for helping me reach 2,000 subscribers. I make videos on Saturdays every 2 weeks. 3 weeks if it's a special event like this. Speaking of special events, tune in on Saturday, January 12th, when I go over the top 5 most average hit songs of 2018. Pop songs may come in numbers, but there's only one, 96.
breaking me.